We are going to be working on lesson 5-8, which is indirect measurement. Okay, and we do have one vocabulary word today, which is indirect measurement, which the definition says the technique of using similar figures and proportions to find a measure. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be finding missing sides of shapes using the sides of the other shape. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Well, it's going to be very similar to what we did yesterday in the fact that we're going to have to identify our corresponding sides first. So let's take a look at our first example up here. If you notice, yes, we do have a missing side right here, X. Okay, so I'm going to color code that red. Okay, now I need to go over here to my smaller triangle and do the same thing with the corresponding side, which on this one, if you notice, the triangles are flipped. So the corresponding side to X is going to be side BC right here, which is 12 centimeters. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue identifying my other corresponding sides of my triangles here. And I'll go ahead and continue color coding those. And our last sides here, I'll make green. All right, so once I have my corresponding sides color-coded, now I can actually do my work to find, I'm going to be finding the value of my X on this one. I'm going to be finding the length of it. Okay? And to do that, what I have to do is, just like what I did on my previous lesson, I'm going to have to set up ratios using the numbers from my corresponding sides. So, the first side that I'm going to use is going to be my red sides because that's the side that I'm missing. That's my unknown. That's the side that I have to find. So I'm going to have to choose that side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 12 from my small triangle, put that as my numerator, and put that over X, which is the red side on my large triangle. And I'm going to set that equal to, now I'm going to choose either orange or green. It doesn't matter at this point. Okay, which sides that I decide to use, because you'll get the same answer. I'm going to choose the green ones because the numbers are smaller, and I want, well, I'm lazy, so I want the easier work. So I'm going to choose the green sides because the numbers, again, are smaller. So I'm going to end up with 8 from right here, and my large triangle is going to be 28. So once I have this, now I've set up a proportion, so now I can cross multiply and divide to find my answer. So I can cross multiply right now. But if you notice, I have 8 over 28, which I can actually simplify that, and I'm going to simplify that because it'll make our multiplying and dividing a little bit easier. Okay? So what number goes into both 8 and 28? Yeah, 4 will. So I'm going to divide both those by 4. Okay, which that gives me 2 over 7. Okay, now I can cross multiply and divide those numbers. So I'm going to cross multiply 12 times 7. Then I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, so let's first multiply 12 times 7, which is going to give me 84. Okay, so then I'm going to take the 84 and divide that by 2. Which, yes, gives me 42. So I know the value of my X right here is going to be 42. Which, if you look at it, we can kind of just use our common sense to check that. If we look, our short side on our triangles is 28 and 8. Okay, that makes sense. Our long side is 56 and 16, which makes sense. So that means our red side is our medium side, okay, which 42 is in between 28 and 56. So that certainly seems reasonable. Okay. All right, let's move on to number 2. And again, on number 2, we're going to do the same thing. First thing I have to do is identify my corresponding sides, and I'm going to color code these, and I would recommend you guys do the same. And then my corresponding side on the bottom, which, since this is a rectangle, I don't have to do the corresponding sides on the other side and the other top, because since they're rectangles, they equal each other. Now, once I have my corresponding sides identified, I'm going to set up my fractions just like what I did up top here. So I'm going to start with my red side because that has my unknown there, and that's what I'm trying to find there. So I'm going to have 9 over my question mark, and I'm going to set that equal to my 18 over 50. Okay? Now, on this one, 18 over 50, I could simplify that again because I know that 2 will go into both of those, which would give me 9 over 25. Now, once I have that, now I can cross multiply and divide just like I normally do to solve proportions. Okay, and we know that 25 times 9 gives me, that's right, 225. Then I have to take that 225 and divide by 9, which 225 divided by 9 gives me 25, because I just multiplied it times 9 and then divided it by 9, which obviously is going to give me the same answer, which gives me 25 as my missing side. Now, this one is a little bit easier than the top, because if you actually look at your small rectangle here, you notice that 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, so some number right here times 2 has to equal 50. Well, 25 times 2 equals 50. Okay, that doesn't work on all those, obviously. Like on the top one, it wouldn't have worked that way on the top one for me. However, it does work on my rectangle here. Okay, any questions on how we find the missing side of a shape? No? All right, then get to work.